Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look back at the Grade 1 Spinster Stakes at Keeneland, a key prep for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. They break from the gate, and 3 strides out, it's all over, Mike.
Yeah, this is Latruska. This is what she does. She's a very heavy favorite in here, Dan. And you're right. Right at this point, when both the 5 and the 6 have already decided we're not going to go race her, this race is over.
She is a horse that you can easily root for because she dances every single dance, and it seems she shows up every time. She's won 7 of her last 8, the only loss coming by a scant head in the Azeri, a race in which they decided to rate her. This race here, the Spinster, her 5th consecutive triple-digit buyer, a 101, and she is as loose as she wants to be. And Love and Life right now, she got away with a real easy opening quarter and opening half, 24, 47, and 4.
Yeah, this is, at this stage of the game, you're just not going to beat Latruska when you hand her a trip like this one. She's a mare who has shown in the past that if she has to, she'll go really fast on the lead and still be there at the end. That's how good she is. When you hand her a half-mile fraction like this with no pressure whatsoever, you're just not going to beat her.
And right at a critical juncture, going into the second turn, Arad Ortiz drops his hand slightly and Latruska responds. The horses that are going to pick up the piece, they're in the back tier right now. Dunbar Road down towards the inside. To the outside in the Pink Cat, Bonnie South. They're going to pass these trackers, but they're never going to get within range of Latruska. A useful effort from both of these horses. Horses that are rock solid, but if they show up in the Breeders' Cup, they're going to need some help.
Right. They are going to need some help. What they're going to need actually at the Breeders' Cup is a setup more like they had up at Saratoga 2 starts back in the Personal Ensign, where Latruska did go fast on the lead. These horses were both gaining ground on her at the end, but they still couldn't catch her. That race set up a little bit better for them. This race didn't set up for them at all. And actually, they both ran, pretty well to be second and third, which is probably where they, figured to finish anyway. Even if Latruska, had to work a little bit harder, it feels like she's just a little bit better than them.
Latruska in front every step. She's won 17 of 22 starts. She is 4 for 4 without Lasix, and there's one big mountain left for her to climb. That is the 3-year-old filly Malathat in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's take a look at the order of finish for the Spinster, and we know how Latruska is going to handle it. It's going to go right to the front. Let's not forget She Dares the Devil in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, Mike. She could be lurking somewhat under the radar, although as a tracker, she might be on the chase from Latruska early.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, how that race shakes out, because you mentioned the one recent loss for Latruska this year. That was at Oakland on the Azeri. She Dares the Devil beat her, and she Dares the Devil beat her by taking the lead away from her at the beginning of that race, and then Latruska couldn't catch her. So, it certainly adds, I guess, a little bit of intrigue to the distaff. If Latruska has to hook up with another really good horse on the lead, what's going to happen?
Dunbar Road, game for second, outran Bonnie South that last quarter of a mile, both basically starting at the same point from last. Dunbar Road has always hinted at some ability. It's a shame that the last year and a half or so for her, it's been sort of start and stop. You get the feeling that Chad Brown's had to navigate through some minor physical issues, but she does have a strong close, and if the pace heats up in the distaff, as could certainly happen, you don't want to count her out completely at a giant price.
That's probably true. I mean, if nothing else, I can appreciate that her last 2 races are both pretty good. And it feels like she's maybe taken steps forward, beaten less than a length by Latruska in that Personal Ensign with a triple-digit buyer. Really had no chance in here, but was clearly second best at the end of this race while making up some ground. So it does feel like she's going to at least head to the distaff in good form.
Crystal Ball and Envoûtante, the 4th and 5th place finishers, have sort of hovered around the fringes of this division. I think this result sort of shows that they're more grade 2, grade 3 types right now. Crystal Ball was coming off of a good performance where she just missed a She Dares the Devil at Churchill Downs, but she just really never got into it here.
Yeah, well, they didn't go aggressively from the gate. And once they decided that they weren't going to go after Latruska, what they wound up with was, that 3-wide trip around the track and then having to chase around the second turn right as the pace was picking up. She just didn't really have any chance. That being said, if they go to the Breeders' Cup, what's going to be different? Because they can't rate her there, it doesn't seem like. And you certainly don't want to go after Latruska on the lead either. It just feels like she's in a tough spot.
Let's take a look at the prices for the Grade 1 Spinster. The wonderful daughter of Super Saver, Latruska, wins for the 17th time, pays 280, Dunbar Road, Bonnie South, complete the top three. Latruska on her way to the Breeders' Cup Distaff. There's some good ones. Malathat, She Dares the Devil, and others waiting for her at Del Mar.